Hey friends, happy Monday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I'm Taylor and I share What's for Dinner videos just like this every Monday. And this week's is pretty simple and easy meals. I like to keep things like super easy leading up to Thanksgiving. I'm doing Thanksgiving prep and just don't want to be in the kitchen as much since I know I'm going to be in the kitchen a lot for Thanksgiving. So all of these things are things that we've made before, things that my family loves. Any recipes that I have will be linked down below. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving and a great weekend. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Friday night, I did some pork chops and potatoes in the oven. I baked them in a 9 by 13 inch baking dish. Typically, I would do this in like a sheet pan, but I really did like them in the baking dish this time. So I've got some baby gold potatoes here that I've cut up. Some of them I've halved, some of them I've quartered, and I'm just seasoning them all over with a little bit of ranch seasoning packet, some paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, salt and pepper, and some olive oil, and I'm going to toss those all around really well. And then I'm going to top them with my pork chops, and I'm going to use the remaining ranch seasoning packet on those, as well as the same seasonings on the pork chops. I'm going to season both sides, and you'll see when I do the rest of the ranch seasoning on the last side, I had saved way too much for that side. So I ended up turning them over and letting some of that fall down on the potatoes. And then I topped each pork chop with a little pat of butter. And then I stuck this in the oven on 425 for 35 minutes. After the 35 minutes, of course, you just want to check, make sure your potatoes are tender and that your pork is all the way cooked through. And then to go on the side of this, we had a can of peas because that's what the kids asked for. I gave them an option of what canned veggie they want. Usually I would do like green beans with this, but they picked peas because we don't have peas like super often. Saturday night, I made beef and broccoli ramen, which is a recipe that we love, and it can be made with either ground beef or like sliced steak, but I am making it with ground beef because it's just super simple that way. So to start off, I am mixing together my sauce. I like to double the sauce for this, so just keep that in mind when you look at the original recipe down below. I do double the sauce. So in a measuring cup, I am mixing together soy sauce, cornstarch, beef broth, honey, rice vinegar, sesame oil, some minced garlic, some grated ginger, and some cracked red pepper flakes. And then the recipe also calls for hoisin sauce, but I was out of hoisin sauce, so I did a little bit of oyster sauce instead. And I'm just going to whisk that together and set that to the side for when it's time to add the sauce. Then in my skillet, I'm going to start cooking my ground beef. I'm going to season that all over with a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Once the ground beef was all cooked, I drained off all of the excess grease. This is like an 80-20 blend, so it had quite a bit of grease to drain off. I just used a little paper towel trick to soak all that up. And then I'm going to add in the sauce. And then I'm also going to add in some broccoli. If you like fresh broccoli and you don't like it like super tender, you could just add that in. I like to cook the fresh broccoli in the air fryer first and then add it in so it's already cooked and like tender to our liking. And then I just simmer that over a medium-low heat until the sauce starts to thicken up. And while that was simmering, I went ahead and boiled some water to prepare some ramen. I did 3 packs of chicken ramen, but you don't use the chicken flavoring packet. You just leave that out, save it for something else if you want, throw it away. But you don't have to use chicken ramen packets. You could use regular ramen if you can just find the noodles. Sometimes Aldi carries them, and you can use that in this. This is delicious. We love it. It's not one of those meals that reheats well, because like reheating ramen noodles they turn like to mush. So I would not recommend it for leftovers. just keep that in mind. Sunday, we spent a couple hours at the mall playing Pokemon Go, and we knew that that was going to last until like 6 o'clock, I think the event ended. So then we knew we would be hungry and ready for dinner and not wanting to go home to do that. So we ended up getting Mexican food. We were originally going to go to our favorite Mexican restaurant, which is El Torero over in Duluth, but turns out they're closed on Sundays. So we tried this place outside of Sugarloaf Mills Mall. It is called Pepe's Mexican Bar and Grill, and it was our first time going there, but I would not recommend it. It was not the best. The salsa was good. The cheese dip was bland, like very bland. And then the ground beef was almost like too salty. Like it was edible to me, but I could see how somebody would say it wasn't edible. We all ate our food, but we all agreed we would not recommend it or go back there. Monday night, we had meatball subs. Sometimes I do these in the crock pot, but this time I actually just cooked up the meatballs in the air fryer and then tossed them with some marinara sauce and then toasted these up in the air fryer with some mozzarella cheese on some sub rolls and served them with some salad. Tuesday night, we had chili mac or chili spaghetti, however you want to call it. I think my kids call it chili spaghetti because it's chili on top of spaghetti noodles, but Andy calls it chili mac because that's what it is called at Steak and Shake. And I just took some of my chili that I had in the freezer, thawed it out, heated it up, cooked up some spaghetti noodles, and the kids and Andy had that with cheese on top. I don't care for it. I don't care for chili on top of spaghetti. I don't even care for spaghetti all that much. So I just ate a bowl of chili with some saltines. Wednesday night, we did grilled cheese and tomato soup. This is obviously a favorite, especially this time of year. Some nice tomato soup, warm your belly. We had it on this artisan bread from Aldi with cheese, cheddar cheese and American cheese. And then this soup is the Progresso tomato basil soup, which I quite enjoy. I like the flavor of the basil, but my family does not love this. They don't really like the flavor of the basil. It makes it too sweet for them. They also don't like how smooth this is. They like the chunks of tomato, except for Elijah, of course. They like the chunks of tomato in like the hearty tomato soup. But I have not been able to find the hearty tomato soup. I've been to 2 different Krogers. They don't have it. It says in the app that they have it, but I literally don't see a spot for it anymore, which is disappointing because Kroger always has the best deals on the soup. I haven't checked Walmart yet. Hopefully I can find it there. Amazon had it, but only in like a case of 24 or something, which is a lot of soup. So let me know if you guys can find the hearty tomato soup, or what your favorite soup is, that doesn't have basil. If you have a tomato soup that you like that doesn't have basil. The Campbell's like original tomato soup, not our favorite. Again, they want some kind of chunks of tomato in there. So let me know down below if you have any recommendations. And finally, the last meal of the week was Thanksgiving, and I did a really bad job at recording Thanksgiving dinner. This is our Thanksgiving lunch. It's like appetizers. We've got like meat and cheese board, crackers, cheese ball with pepper jelly, some shrimp cocktail, fruit and vegetables. And then for dinner, I completely forgot to record everything. So this is actually a photo of my meal, like my leftover meal the next night. We had ham and turkey, deviled eggs, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, broccoli casserole, stuffing, mac and cheese, carrots, mashed potatoes and gravy, except I ruined the mashed potatoes. Yeah. So if you made a mistake or did something wrong on Thanksgiving, you are not alone. I made the mashed potatoes like too liquidy. And then I was like, can I save these somehow? I didn't have any boxed mashed potatoes because I typically don't like that, because that would have been perfect to add in to like thicken it up. But online it said, oh, you can add cornstarch in it. It's like the next best thing because you won't be able to taste it. Listen, you can taste it. You can feel it in your mouth. It's absolutely disgusting. I hated it. Everybody hated it except for Lily. Lily kept wanting to eat more and more of the mashed potatoes, but they were awful. So I ruined the mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving, and that was very, very disappointing. But overall, we had a good meal and spent some time with family and enjoyed our holiday. I hope you guys did too. I hope you guys got some meal ideas from this video. Next week, I will have the meals that I made with the leftovers, because we usually eat leftovers for a couple of days. So stay tuned for that. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.